All right, welcome back to Little State Big Voices. Is it not going? It is going. Okay, all right, I'm going to cut that out.
Just leave that in.
Welcome back to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shakita, and my fabulous co-host, Tracy, and this fine gentleman between us. Tracy's going to tell you who he is.
Hey, y'all. So we are back with a face you might recognize from a prior podcast. We're here with Rudy Cabrera, who you know as a poet from prior podcasts, but he's not a one-trick pony. He's like a jack of all trades and a master of many really cool things, including acting. So we are here with Rudy in a different capacity today. We are here with him as a cast member of A Christmas Carol, which is a Trinity rep production that's actually taking place at PPAC here in Providence, downtown Providence, Rhode Island. So, Rudy, thanks for being here with us again.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be in person with y'all, you know what I'm saying?
I know, right? I was like, yeah, we got to get up close and personal. We got to rub knees together.
For sure.
Well, first of all, we got to say that we are in a dressing room.
Yes.
I feel privileged. Like, just being backstage, I feel like I'm a part of something.
Okay,
like,
we are like, where's my SAG Afro acting card? I need my credentials. I'm going to update my resume.
And we came in through the back, too. Like,
where's my green M&Ms?
Like, we were here.
Where's my bowl of green M&Ms?
Yes,
Only
exactly. Exactly.
I would be the diva yet. Next time.
And y'all could have a cute little kitchen scenario going on. I saw some crafty happening in the back.
Yeah. Nah, they take care of us over here.
Very
sure.
cute,
they take care
very
of us.
demure, very mindful.
Absolutely.
So, Rudy, talk to us about A Christmas Carol. This is a Christmas classic. Everybody knows the name, but tell us why they need to come and see your production of A Christmas Carol.
Well, outside of it being a tradition, it's a big deal to be over here at PPAC. Part of the reason why we're here at PPAC is because, you know, at Trinity they're renovating and stuff like that. But it's just a beautiful production, a timeless story told over and over again, with a really dope twist, musical twist. Tatiana really did something beautiful with her vision for the show and stuff like that. My character is bringing some modernness to it, without giving too much of it away. I'm playing the reader character, so I'm narrating as the show is going on and stuff like that. So, but it's just a beautiful, feel good production, and it's just like, why miss it? Why miss it? Especially even in this space, you know, so many things culminating in one between Trinity and PPAC and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful show.
And the truth is, we actually were going to have Tatiana, but she's so busy just getting everything prepared for this production that we couldn't get her for this one, but I'm sure we'll have her in the future. So you are the narrator, which is probably, you know, no shade, but the most important job, I guess, because you're setting the tone, right?
You know what's fun? You know what's funny? You know what's funny is, like, I'm really involved and then not involved at the same time. Because I came into this production like ready, like, okay, I don't know what is needed of me. If I gotta be out there singing and dancing, bringing the, you know what I'm saying, the jolly joy or whatever, I'm with it. Whatever.
Gonna, like, be doing the bachata in the middle of
I was ready. Whatever they was gonna need from me, you know what I'm saying? I was gonna do it. But the characters actually, like I said, like, watching, I help transition a lot of the moments and stuff like that from one scene into another, setting up certain things and stuff like that, you know. So it's a really cool role. I might be getting typecasted a little bit or whatever, because it is very a little poetic-y, you know what I'm saying? It's like a little spoken wordy or whatever and stuff, but it's all good. And it's just a really fun thing to do. I tell my castmates I got the best seat in the house because I don't leave the stage the entire time.
Oh, really?
No. I don't leave the stage the entire time. You know, off camera, they can see my my roommate or whatever, I guess you could call it, or whatever. My backstage roommate. He's got all his pictures with his costumes. It's like
we'll turn it around eventually.
Yeah, it's probably like 11 different little costume pieces or whatever that he has. I just got one costume. That's it.
So that's the thing. So I don't know why in my head the whole time when we were saying that we were going to come and meet with Rudy, I'm thinking he's going to have like the pipe cleaners,
especially the chimney.
Like, I thought he was going to be dressed like
I was ready.
Mary Poppins.
Listen, I was ready to get my England accent popping. I was ready to do all that. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to do all that, but they was like, nah, Rudy, we want you to be you. I was like, I can do that. I can do that.
He said his England accent, so I'm just saying, just give us a little English accent. We're going to London on Tuesday.
My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come see me? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, not the Cockney.
I think That's the first to go to.
This is so fun. I love that. That was good. That was pretty good. I feel like maybe they're not, maybe if someone, is not able to, you could understudy maybe somebody else. And, because I feel like you got
just because I'm not required to do it in this production don't mean I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I got it.
You have a theatrical background anyway. You've done many productions on top of your spoken word. So I wouldn't expect anything less of you. So tell us a little bit more about this production. What makes this maybe different or unique, or what's the reason that this is a destination Christmas Carol show?
Oh, first of all, the musical director, this guy named Garrett, was just amazing with some of the stuff that he's done, and also Tavon Gamble was in it. Was also the choreographer this year. Just the marriage between Garrett's music and Tavon's choreography is really something beautiful to watch. It's kind of got like a bit of like a rock kind of hinge to it as well, whatever. But some of the songs it's just so fun to just sit there and watch and be a part of and things like that. That's definitely like one of like the biggest things for sure. I mean, it's hard because it's a story that mostly everybody already knows. You understand what I'm saying? I might have been the only person that didn't know about this show beforehand prior. You know what I mean? Like I'm learning the show as it's going on. You know what I'm saying? As we were rehearsing and everything like that. But it's just it's just a beautiful, beautiful production, and so much work had to be put into for it to go from Trinity, where we were rehearsing, to then bring it over here. We had to do about like, no lie, maybe like 5.5 days worth of tech in like 2.5 days.
Wow.
So it's been a lot of sacrificing. Probably like the past like month, I feel like I've only been going home just to get ready to come back here and stuff like that. The kids are amazing in it. We got young kids in it and stuff like that. I have a kid with me the entire time, the entire show, whatever. That's like my son, who's like also like he filters the middle ground between like me reading the story to him, but also to the audience. So it's just like it's so, and then there's moments where the kid jumps into the story in certain times and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful thing to be a part of. And my first time really doing something like holiday. You know what I'm saying? I guess with the exception of like Deep Red, the horror film that I did, you can kind of say I did something for Halloween. You know what I mean? This is my first time doing like a holiday show, which like typically I've always kind of avoided, if I'm being honest. But just because I give me the trauma. You know what I'm saying? Give me the emotional heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? I usually thrive in those kind of spaces, as y'all saw the last show that I was in, Notes from the Field at Mixed Magic.
Oh my God!
I wanted to talk. Well, Tracy and I's reaction to it, and I think we talked about it on the podcast or whatever, just how emotional it was. Yeah. And he played a woman in one particular role, and that was very emotional for me. We were crying.
Yes,
but he's a poet, and I was telling him earlier that I had him as a poet, and that's it. But when I saw him on stage, that totally blew my mind. It was phenomenal. Everybody in that cast was phenomenal, and I am anxious to see this. How long is this for?
What's the run of the show?
Yeah.
So for right now we have 2 more, three more days. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for this week. From December 5th, but we go on a hiatus because Hamilton is coming in town.
Okay.
And so they got to take. This is another crazy side of whatever of us being here or whatever and stuff like that is Hamilton is gonna be in town, so I think we're gonna be on hiatus until about the 25th. And then the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. Those are the last 4 days or whatever that we're going to be here. But each one of those are double show days. So it'll be at like 12 o'clock and then like 6 to 7:30.
Hardest working man in Providence. So understand. Not to mention Rudy does other things. Like you do other things aside from acting and poetry too. So it's just like, thank you so much for making the time to sit with us and go over this. And it's interesting that you say that you are learning about A Christmas Carol because it wasn't something that you kind of grew up with, maybe.
Yeah, nah.
Like, I feel like if you grew up and were born in America and you went to public school or any, I don't know. It just seems like maybe definitely from our age group, that was just something that was like Christmas Carol, Peanuts Christmas. There were certain things that were just about Christmas, and Christmas Carol has been adapted in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So
I love the original, the 1940-ish one in black and white. That was really good. I still watch it, and I don't even celebrate Christmas. But it's my favorite.
Word. Nah, but that's the beauty of like a beautiful story is that it transcends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It transcends, and that's kind of the lesson that I've kind of learned just sitting here and being a part of this production and stuff like that. Because I'm not the biggest holiday dude myself personally or whatever.
You're not watching like all the Hallmark films.
Yeah, no. You know.
I'm not doing Hallmark.
You know what's funny? My favorite Christmas movie is Bad Santa.
Oh, I love that Santa.
What's funny? Yeah.
Yo, when he's like hungover, drunk,
Oh
or whatever in the
my
hotel room, and the alarm clock goes off, and he just starts smacking it and throws it against the wall, and then like throws like 3 or 4 bottles. That one scene cracks me up every single time I watch it. Like
I like the new horror Santa movies that have been coming out
I'm not
lately.
even familiar
Like
with
Krampus. You haven't seen Krampus?
No.
Like there are so many that have come out where there's one with this English family and they're all like together or whatever, but somebody's going around killing off the family. It's entertaining.
They just blending holidays now.
I guess
like,
so.
We go for Halloween, Christmas
because
together.
Halloween only lasts but one day. You need to,
Oh my gosh! So probably my favorite Christmas movie might be Friday After Next.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? I think I've only seen it one time, so I would have to go back because the original is my jam.
Cat Williams, you got Ricky
I remember, yeah.
Terry Crews.
Wait, is that the one with the guy with Pinky? Is that
no?
He does make an appearance though.
That's next Friday, but yeah.
No,
yeah.
but he makes an appearance in Friday
Yeah,
After
he
Next
does.
too.
He
Yeah,
does.
when they have the rent
That's
party
true.
or whatever and stuff like that.
That is true.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
I think Pinky made it for me in the Fridays after.
Yeah.
Okay, but I didn't realize it was
that was a Christmas movie.
Okay.
So the whole what do you call it? Subplot was that Santa Claus was stealing gifts.
Yeah.
Of course.
He was crackhead. Crackhead dressed up like Santa and stealing everybody's gifts.
Okay. Gotta have a Grinch. It was just the Grinch version.
Well, when you mentioned that Hamilton was coming in town, I was like, oh, they're probably going to try to snatch Rudy up. If they sit in your audience, they're going to steal you. I could see you doing, seriously, Broadway level shows.
I appreciate it. it.
For sure.
But I'm gonna be honest. I just recently saw an interview from somebody that was in Hamilton, and one of the questions that they asked him was like, "Yo, how did it feel to get that first Hamilton check?" He's like, "Oh no, great," but then he was like, "No, actually, it wasn't great because we started off Broadway and it was only getting I think he said $460 a week or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then he was even talking about if you're on Broadway and let's say you're an ensemble member or something like that, maybe you're not a lead or anything like that. You might be getting $1,800. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta chip that off with managers, agents, taxes, and New York taxes is
Lin-Manuel. Pay the people.
You know what I mean? So it's I can't even necessarily put it on him per se because sometimes you don't know something's gonna blow up. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't know until it really takes off. And there is it's hard to get funded for arts. That's just hard because it's not always a guarantee that people are really gonna come out in droves to be able to support it. Even when we did La Broa, I think I might have told y'all whatever, we did I think La Broa made over 200% profit, but nobody was really expecting that necessarily. Yeah. There's no way to plan for that.
And the thing I think with the arts is that you rely on a lot of philanthropy from donors, givers. That's why I get all kinds of fundraiser stuff during the holiday season or just all throughout the year, but I really do try to support the arts because my son is an artist and I understand that, like you said, it's hard to get funding of any kind for things like that. So, and we need art. We really do. I'm an escapist,
Absolutely.
So escapism not as bad.
But I'll say this though too. I think there's also an element of artists that need to understand that you're never gonna escape hard work at the end of the day. I think there's a lot of people that they look at it as an opportunity to avoid having a job. And it's this is a lot more of a passion thing than it is a money thing. You got to keep it 100. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
think
There's people
this is in some people though. That is what they want to do. So there may be,
Absolutely.
you probably do know some people who are like,
but sometimes people kind of want it to serve them, as opposed to you have to really look at it through the lens of like, what can you bring to it a lot of times. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to roll with the punches too, because you have to you have to be able to develop a reputation of like, yo, we can count on you. Right? Like I was having this conversation, somebody will remain nameless or whatever and stuff like that, but I was having this conversation with somebody about like business and the arts and stuff like that, about how like people will want certain opportunities, but they can't guarantee people want like a certain amount to get paid, but they can't guarantee that coming back. And so like, how are we playing business here? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you want it business when it fits you, and then you want it to be charity when it fits you. It's like, it just doesn't work like that. So like sometimes like I don't try to pretend like I'm a huge ticket seller or anything like that. But one thing that I can always guarantee is whatever crowd you got there, I'm going almost steal the show. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, so there's something
being modest, because you gonna steal the show. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. I pulled up on you one time you did a thing on North Main Street, and I feel like every time I go, it's like you and Queen just
yeah.
shut it down.
Shout out to TDN.
You just shut it down, because it's one thing to go and watch poetry, it's one thing to go and watch spoken word, but you actually become the character in the scene. And that's what really, I'm the main person who would be like, I like poetry, I'll read it, but I don't go looking for poetry per se. But I was like, oh, actually, you are a ticket seller, because I think I bought like 2 tickets knowing that you were going to be there.
Well, see, that's what I mean is like I have a connection to the community where people, if it's the right situation, I can get people passionate about supporting me. So like, people that sometimes will do like a bigger show where like they might be pulling a little bit into their bank or whatever and stuff like that to bring somebody who is maybe more popular from like another state or something like that. They also feel comfortable putting me on the bill because they know, you know what I mean? And I like to promote, I like to let people know where I'm at and what I'm doing. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a 2 for 2. And I don't feel like that's like extra work on my end. I feel like it's part of what makes me special and makes people want to book me per se. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you have something about you that is tied to your reputation, you know what I mean? Of like, yo, I know if I book this dude, he's gonna be professional. He's not gonna complain about nothing or whatever, and he's gonna give me a great show. So it's like, so if you bring somebody that is bigger than me ticket sale wise, you still feel comfortable putting me on there because I'm gonna go up there and do what I do. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta do something to make up for places that it's hard to keep consistent per se. Because I know for myself, between poetry and theater, I didn't really get a chance to like really build up a specific brand. I'm kind of all over the place. People know me for a lot of different things. You know what I mean? A lot of people know me. There's people that when they see me do poetry, they don't know that I act. And when they see me acting, they don't know that I do poetry. I have 2 separate people, like 2 separate groups or whatever, that only know me in these 2 separate worlds. There's a whole bunch of people in Boston that have been thinking for years that I was born and raised in Boston because I was out there in the poetry scene out there. You know what I'm saying? Not even knowing that I've been acting since I was 17 years old. So I didn't get a chance to build something super duper focused per se, because I just was ripping and running and trying to figure out anywhere that I could get some footing in the door. You understand what I'm saying? So there's always like pros and cons to every path. You know what I mean? But you figure it out and you go, okay, this is what I can promise, and then you go from there. You know what I mean? So,
but isn't that still super focused? I mean, the poetry and the theater, because those two combined, like Tracy was saying, when she sees you do poetry, you bring the emotion to it.
Absolutely.
That's the same as like in theater. And when I saw you, more so, I didn't see you live doing poetry, but I saw you bring an emotional character that was a real life character, because they were actual scenes from. Can you explain that to our viewers again? What Notes from a Field were?
Oh yeah. And it just real quick. So Anna Devere Smith, her style is she does interviews with actual people, and then takes the interviews and turns them into monologues. And so the plays is always like, you know what I'm saying, the actual interviews from the people, essentially. And she.
So that would be hard in my mind to read off an interview and make it seem authentic, and then to grab the audience, by the throat, basically, because you played a woman and you wasn't dressed like a woman.
Wasn't dressed like a woman. It wasn't affecting like this stereotypical female. You took probably one of the hardest tasks anybody had on the stage because of the way that you handled it.
And I was expecting him to come out in a skirt, but but he did not do that.
I was initially worried about that too when they told me. I was like, "What we doing here? What we doing here?"
It was really.
I looked at it as an opportunity to praise the black women that I've grown up around. I mean, my mom's is a black woman. Might be Latino, might be flavored with sazon, but she's still a black woman. You understand what I'm saying? So, and there's just certain things that just translate across the board, no matter what black you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? African American, Caribbean, from Africa. There's just certain things that just translates across the board. And so when you just tap into that, and I know so many black women in education and stuff like that. So like the piece itself was like very, very specific. But I did want to just jump back real quick though. See, one of the things is about like promotion and stuff like that. Momentum is a big thing. So sometimes like it's not. It's sometimes you gotta step out of like what the craft actually is and like the quality of the craft, and like not take it personal. Sometimes you really have to remove your personal feelings from how I feel about what I can do on stage, and just be able to look at it through the lens of like I have moments where I'm like super involved in poetry, but then when I get in a play, like right now, I haven't been outside going to poetry readings and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I have these moments or whatever where it's like these 3 or 4 months I'm on fire, I'm doing slams, and it'll always just kind of happen by chance. I don't even really plan it like that per se. But then I get in a play, and then it's hard for me to burn both ends, you know what I'm saying, of the candle or whatever and stuff like that. So sometimes you lose that momentum of just like, because the reality is this: it doesn't matter how good you are. There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to stay consistent on it. And even if they're not good right now, someone who's not good could always get better. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I never like trash anybody who might not have it all together at the moment or whatever. But if I see them that they're working or whatever, I'll be like, yo, just keep at it. You're gonna figure it out. I've seen people, whatever, that when I had like my heyday in Boston, where I was out there a lot, people back then that, like, if I'm being totally honest, I wasn't super impressed with them at the time that I'd first seen them. But I've seen them continue, and I see them now, and I'm like, yo, you're killing it. You know what I'm saying? And we be even ended up on the same bills sometimes and stuff like that. But it's about momentum. And for me, I feel like what has carried me over when I can't keep the momentum up today in 2024, honestly, is also mentorship. You know what I'm saying? Mentoring people and stuff like that, and giving them a word of advice, and not honing whatever I understand to myself only. You know what I'm saying? And sharing information with people. And then just, I guess just when you treat people right, you know, when you treat people good, because it's one thing to be talented. It's one thing to be professional as far as like being able to do your job. But then it's another thing where people just like being around you. That's something that a lot of people underestimate. You know what I mean? And so for me, I could even admit there's parts of my personality that I might compartmentalize, because in my private life, I have aspects about me that's way too aggressive to be in certain environments. You understand what I'm saying? Like when I'm with my homie that I like grew up with and stuff like that taught me how to like slap box and everything like that. We get with each other and it's like, what up, son? What up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, help me practice these 52 blocks real quick, son. Like, I'm not gonna walk into a rehearsal and, you know what I'm saying, somebody that don't do that or whatever, just, you know what I'm saying, what's up, son, where you at? Like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
But so part of that, the code switching.
But I don't even call it that, code switching. I call it compartmentalizing.
Okay.
Because it's it doesn't feel phony, because I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not.
Right.
It's just this aspect of my personality does not need to be here. I have my friends where I could exercise that with. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, like, when I stopped trying to make every single circle be something or whatever, where it's like I got to be every aspect of my personality, or I feel like I'm not being truthful to myself. When I stopped thinking like that, I actually appreciate each circle for individually for what they do.
I
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh God, I do.
Because I love my family, but they ain't artists.
Yeah.
They not artists.
But it's true for, and I think all of us do that. But to say it the way that you just, that's the artist coming out in you. Because not every group deserves certain parts of you.
They just don't need it.
Yeah.
It just ain't needed. It's not needed. It doesn't match.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Match.
It don't match. You know what I'm saying? Some environments it just don't match.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know what I mean?
And that is okay.
Yes. And like you said, you can't exhaust every aspect of your personality. You burn yourself out trying to, and you really won't be your authentic self. So I think what you're saying here is that you are your authentic self everywhere you go, but it just plays out differently.
Absolutely.
In each circle.
And to be honest too, you end up opening yourself to be able to embrace other people's personalities a little bit more and stuff like that.
And their culture too.
Yeah,
some cultural differences, because I'm sure in your art community there's a cultural difference than, like you said, in your your local neighborhood community or your family or what have you. So I think that's the good thing, is the networking and the learning from other experiences. But no, that's dope. I think that you handle being a multi-hyphenate really well, because I think some people try to do. Yeah, people try to do a lot of different things, and they're just not, like, I wish they would stop. I'm like, you're really good at singing, please start trying to act, or vice versa. But I think that, now, I don't know, maybe you could sing too, and I just don't know it.
No. Maybe that's why they don't got me singing too much in this show.
But I feel like you're good.
I tell myself to shut up in the shower. I tell you that right now. No, we're not doing that.
No.
I'm with you on that one. I don't even like to hear myself.
My voice not built for that. My voice not built for that.
See, the difference, I think I can sing, but I can't.
Yeah, no, I don't even think it no more. I'm just like,
I know I can't, but I can't hear it.
And I can't dance. And I feel like as a Black woman, I feel like I got robbed.
They gave you the 1-3 rhythm?
No, so
they gave you the 1-3 rhythm?
1-2, not even
you
1-3.
developed your other talents. You developed your other talents, right?
And you can say that, but I want to dance. I want to be able to, in my head, oh my God.
So we should take the bachata class.
There you go.
I feel like I should probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in the back of the classroom. Always. I am that. I just feel like I don't know what happened.
So, question, the interview just hopped over to shooter. When you're at a function, a Black function, and all the line dancing starts, like the cha-cha slide, now can you do all of those?
Let me just tell you. My cousins used to call me Madonna. Not because I could sing or anything, just because my dancing was horrible. Mm-hmm. And then one year, I just felt like really good about myself. And I was like, it was at one of my cousins' 40th birthday party. And I really did get down. And my cousin was like, look at you, Beyonce. And let me tell you, I hold that compliment. Even though I wasn't doing anything on this level. But the fact that they said it, I was just like, I've grown. Thank you. No, I can't dance. Cannot.
It's okay.
It's bad. So
you just gotta get the basics. That's it.
Yeah, I have the 2-step.
That's all you need.
I can chair dance.
You can do merengue. Merengue is just merengue is just a hip focused 2-step. That's all it is.
Okay.
That's
I
all
can do
merengue
that.
is.
That's what I love about some Spanish dances, because it's not a whole, all this TikTok stuff or whatever. Just give me the basics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very bad.
And an edible, and then I'm there.
Well, see, with the edible though, you don't know if you're really doing anything. You can feel like you're doing.
I don't care. You ever watch? Okay, we gotta get back to Rudy, but you ever watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I know that show.
Right?
I just know Danny DeVito's in it.
Okay, it's hilarious. That used to be my show, but there is this one episode. They go back for a reunion, and they say, they had this dance group, and they were like, you know what, we sucked back then, but we are so good now. And they go through the whole thing, and then all of a sudden it clips to the audience, looking at them like, what the hell is going on? They were so high.
They thought they were doing something.
They thought that they were doing this dance, and when you saw what they were, that would be me.
But at least if you're high,
but I'm having a good time.
That's what matters. That's what matters. Listen,
with the edible, I can dance.
In my very short-lived time of like going out to clubs and stuff like that, it'll always be that one person that can't dance, but they having the time of their life. Everybody start off laughing, and then after a while, everybody be like, "You have more fun than me."
So for me, that's when I go.
You know what I'm saying?
When I go
to my parties,
and eventually that same guy, girls start dancing with him.
So here's what I would say is the cure for anybody who feels like they can't go to a non-melanated wedding.
Oh, I'm top notch then.
And that reception will give you the confidence you need.
Are you okay? I think he's red.
To go. Listen, I've seen some things.
Don't go when she says non-melanated. She's just talking Caucasian because do not go to an Asian.
No, that's melanin. That's still melanin.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I've been to Asian and I've been to a Pakistani wedding. Stop playing. I'm walking out the door. So I agree with what she just said.
You're gonna get your you're gonna get your money back.
All right, enough about that.
Yes. So what we saying here?
But I want him to talk a little bit about his mentoring, just before we
especially
wrap up, because that's so important at this time.
And you're working with a lot of young people too, so I really would like to, because I'm sure.
Well, it's nothing like that I planned necessarily, because like I didn't when I got into the arts, like, you know, there's obviously like sometimes people will offer opportunities to like teach, like, you know what I'm saying, in the classroom and things like that or whatever. And I always kind of stayed away from that, only because like I never wanted to exhaust myself to the point where I couldn't do what I do on stage, right? Like, but I also look at it through the lens of like, you also can't hold everything to yourself. That's how you stop your karma from coming back to you, your good karma from coming back. Like, to me, it's like, it's okay to be selfish in a way that doesn't take away from people. You just can't be greedy. Right? And so you always have to do something to bring back to people. And so I might not be the classroom guy per se. You know what I mean? I might not be able to say, hey, well, I have this class, come see me on this day or anything like that. But if I see somebody out and about and I see just this like a raw talent that's there or whatever, I'm quick to go up and strike a conversation with them and stuff. And the number one thing that I always tell people, you know, my DM's always open. That's the olive branch that I always give to people. But a lot of times it'll just be like, literally, it'll be spontaneous. Like I've had conversations with Louis the B after a TDN show, him and Bento for like an hour and a half after the show was already done. People are leaving and stuff like that, and we're just sitting there talking. Shamari, first time I met Shamari was at a feature that I had at Troop, and me and him talked for like 2 hours after the show. You know what I'm saying? Because I was telling him all these stories, whatever, all these like slam stories and stuff. And I remember telling him, you know, yo, bro, the best thing about it is just fall in love with the process. Because the process is so much more rewarding than the destination a lot of times. Because when you get to the destination, sometimes that's when you have to find out all the business shit. You know what I'm saying? So, my bad. Was I not supposed to? No.
We cuss a little bit on the podcast.
But he took that and he ran with it. You know what I'm saying? He took that and he ran with it. And I felt like every single time I went on Instagram and I checked my stories, I saw him performing somewhere. He was performing at spots I didn't even know existed. I'm like, there's an open mic there? I didn't even know.
Hold on.
I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? So he makes me super proud. My boy Manny Fresco, I remember like giving him like prompts. Like I remember telling him one time, I was like, yo, you got a cool ass voice. And then I was like, yo, you should write a poem about your voice. And he was like, yo, help me write it. I was like, all right, I got you. And I threw out challenges to him. I'm like, yo, give your voice 5 professions. Like just like creative stuff. Give your voice 5 different personalities.
So why are you not teaching? Because I feel like you could be doing this on the college level. Do you think that?
No. I think there's people that are trained in that element better than I am. I think I get excited about sharing information once people show me that they have an interest originally. I don't do well with starting at people from zero and having to get right into it. Yeah, no. I'm not like, because I've tried to do workshops in schools and stuff like that. I think there's people that are better at that aspect of it, of like walking into a classroom with kids that have never done poetry or anything like that, and following them through certain like startup exercises and stuff like that, and just telling them like, oh, write a letter to this, you know what I'm saying? Something that's passionate to you, write a letter to it or something like that, and kind of going from there. I think there's people that are better at that than I am because they're
spontaneous consulting.
Well, it's just yeah. You can say that, but I think it's just I think there's different people exist for different things. You know what I'm saying? I think I look at myself as a player on the field.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The court, the field, I call the stage my boxing gym, my boxing ring, all of that. My octagon, whatever metaphor you want to call it. And so but I got a little bit of a higher IQ in a certain kind of sense. I'm also like not classically trained per se. There was a lot of things that it was like I learned or whatever when I initially went to like college for a couple of years, and then obviously being mentored by Ricardo Fitzwiley. But I take a lot of stuff and do it my own way also. So it's like there's certain things that I can't expect out of other people that I'm willing to do. Like the way that I work out in order to get ready for a show sometimes or whatever, I can't expect that out of everybody because not everybody's into fitness to that extent. You know what I mean? I'll tell you one, when I was in college, we was learning like alliteration exercises. The big black bug bit the big black bear and the big black bear bled badly. All that, right?
I love those.
So I took it upon myself to say like, well, there's rap songs I know that do alliteration just as much. Dead in the middle of Little Whittly, little did we know to riddle the middleman who didn't do diddly, right? That's like the same kind of concept and idea, yes. Right? So it's like, so if I can keep up with these rap songs, then that's like a boot camp version of that.
And I always say rappers are just brilliant in themselves. I'm not a big fan of like a lot of what we have now, but when you just go back and you listen and the poetry that comes in, and my favorite is always going to be Tupac. I don't care what anybody says, but the poetry of it and just what you said, them able to piece all these different things that you're not going to get in school. But they teach you,
and there was
those
no
things
foundation really for that before.
No.
Now where we are now, we have rap.
You know what the foundation was? Our uncles on the corner. I was definitely, sitting around drinking strawberry farm or whatever. That was the foundation.
Right. Well, I take it back. I didn't mean the foundation. What I meant was there was no like written instructions.
Exactly.
So there was no course. There was no curriculum for rap. It was something that's kind of like, okay, I heard somebody do this. Now I'm going to do it my way. And and then everyone just kind of started developing their own stuff. And even now with the stuff that's out now, like I really love Glorilla. I like Sexy Red. I like some of the newer artists. And I even like The Baby. But I agree with what you're saying. And, it's something that, when you probably said something like that out loud in that college classroom, they were like, what is this man talking about? I instantly, but then when you juxtapose the two, I was like, oh my God, that was fun.
Well, I had a real cool teacher, shout out to Ted Clement, Theodore R. Clement, if I'm saying his full name. He's still a professor over there at CCRI and stuff like that. When I took my first intro to theater class with him, I liked him so much. I was like, I'm taking all the acting classes with him. You know what I mean? But it was also Bert Silverberg, who's also like known over there at CCRI as well, like legendary teacher over there. I took voice and articulation with him. And so we had to learn like the phonetic alphabet. I don't know it anymore, but like the phonetic alphabet and stuff like that. That was also part of like where I took that and kind of ran with it. And so like I have certain songs that I use to practice like warming up my vocals. I have another one to practice my breathing for endurance purposes. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, that Black Thought freestyle that he did on Hot 97 on Funk Flex or whatever, I know that whole thing. And I use it to warm up my breathing before a show. Because like you never want to, it's like the same way, right? If you're an athlete, right? You never want the court, the field, whatever it is, whatever sport it is that you play, you want to be warmed up before you go out there because that's how you get an injury, right? And so I look at my vocal cords in the same way as a basketball player got to look at their knees. You understand what I'm saying? And their ankles. I'm not trying to go out there and the stage is the first moment that I'm actually projecting loudly.
You have me really reevaluate my life choices. Like even before like we get on the podcast, I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, we're gonna record it, and I just jump on. Like I feel like I need to do some warm ups, some exercise. Like I'm gonna start doing like my honey hot tea and a scarf and like some alliterations before I start getting on the podcast. And I'm like, got me thinking. But that's I think that's really important. What you said is that you're not just you're giving yourself a transition period from before, pre-game, and then during.
Absolutely.
No, I like that.
Absolutely.
That's pretty.
You gotta get the slip ups out too. Like another thing too is we just did the show earlier today. Like we're doing this on break in between shows and stuff like that. We just did the show earlier, but even before we do the next performance, I'm still gonna run through all my lines beforehand. Because it can leave your brain that fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It can leave your brain that fast. But if you do it, and it could still leave your brain on stage. There's still no promises. There's still no game. Let me tell you something. I blanked twice during this run. I'm not gonna say when it happened or what part, but because I have the experience and because I do what I do beforehand, even when I blanked, I didn't panic. I took a breather. I said the last line that I said, I repeated it in my head, and then it came back to me before anybody else even noticed. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a professional.
You know what I mean? But you have to go through those measures. And that's kind of like what I say, what goes back to what I was saying before about like people wanting this to serve them so much or whatever. But it's like, yo, what measures are you going through to ensure that we can guarantee that at the very least, we're going to get a successful performance. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, they'll wait until the big opportunity to start showing up. Mm-hmm. That's what, all of a sudden, now there's a big opportunity, and now, you know what I mean? Now you want to get picked for it and stuff like that or whatever. But beforehand, when you had the chance to really, really hone your craft and hone your skills, yeah, there might have been less people there, but that still counts as your 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You can't wait for the big opportunity to get here. So all of a sudden want to step it up. Like, nah, you got to step it up beforehand. Even when nobody's there, even when there's 2 or 3 people there, that's still your chance to get better at the end of the day.
It's like I'm getting a philosophy lesson. I'm getting like a life coach. There's so much going on.
And let me put a button in too, even on the mentor thing too. I also feel like if I was to go to like, let's say I was started teaching in like a classroom or whatever. Now, certain people that may have access to me because I'm outside, and they might not have access to me anymore because now I'm in this classroom.
That's true too. You
know what I mean? There's already and also try to look at it through the lens of like, if somebody else is already filling that space, I'd rather support them as opposed to forcing myself to try to do it. Because like one thing, right? Like if you notice, even if we talk about going to poetry specifically. If you notice, I'm not the biggest political poet, right? A lot of it, there's a political element to it. A lot of it is very self-reflective, and you could say socially, politically at times or whatever. But I'm not the most political poet or whatever like that, right? Mainly because I don't feel like it's my strongest, and I feel like there's other people that already do that better than me. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, rather than me trying to write a lesser version of what they already did, I'd rather put my energy into saying, y'all need to see this. This is incredible.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's always like, I try to work in unison with what's going on around me and what I see. And, obviously, and that doesn't mean that I never write a political piece. Mm-hmm. You can say the one about my neighborhood, America Street, that you can say that's a political piece.
I've seen you perform a piece, the one with the redneck. That was political in its own way.
I didn't write that though.
Right, you didn't write it, but the way you perform it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not afraid to be political. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? It ain't that I'm afraid of the topic. It's just I think that there's other people that are just being honest, that are more well read than me in that, you know what I'm saying? And that's my friend Eric, one of my best friends, Eric Andre. He's very political. You know what I'm saying? Eric Andre, Cape Verdean from New Bedford.
Not Eric Andre, the actor.
No, not that guy. Okay, I'm like, that name is very familiar. Okay.
Eric Andre is a phenomenal spoken word artist. Mm-hmm. We're like brothers. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's he stays on it. If anybody follows him on Instagram or whatever, he's always posting about whatever's going on.
Oh, I would look him up.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Instagram, like, where can folks find you on social? Where can folks find information about the Christmas Carol play that's happening here at PPAC?
If you want information about Christmas Carol, you could go to trinityrep.com and look up Christmas Carol on their website. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at It's Rudy Ru, ITSRUDYRU. That's where I be at mainly. You can hit me up on Facebook. I don't know too much, but you can hit me up on there. Rudy Cabrera, RUDYRUCABRERA. Got some old videos on YouTube if you want to look up Rudy Cabrera or Rudy Brew, Rudy Rudacious. Not Rudalicious. A lot of people say that. Not Rudalicious.
That's another job.
That's another job.
Remember Sex Entertainer and Kings of Comedy when he was like the dude, his nickname was Delicious or whatever. Like, yeah, dog, the people just call me Delicious. He looked at me like I'm a grown ass man. I was like, I ain't finna call no grown man delicious.
But what was he saying for real though? Because remember at the end of the joke, it wasn't he was telling him to call him delicious. It was something else. And he's like, I've been running around for like 2 weeks calling this man delicious. And that wasn't the joke. Oh my God.
I don't remember that part of it. I just remember his face. He was like, I'm a grown ass man, dog. Like, I ain't finna be calling
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, we got to
put it at the end of this because that was a funny ass joke because he had a southern accent.
Yeah.
And he couldn't understand the accent and he was running around singing delicious. But anyway.
Listen, I know I'm definitely coming to see the show. Like, no doubt about it.
Sure.
Just from hearing the elements that you told me about it, I'm definitely coming to see it.
And definitely get your tickets because we might be at PPAC, but it's been packing out.
Oh, it always does every year.
Come early
And
for the park.
There are some in the balcony in the front because we have like a very high stage setup or whatever. There's certain seats in the back that can't be sold because of the picture. You can't see the full stage from that standpoint or whatever. So there's, we're not able to sell it out completely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing too. So you want to make sure you get your tickets in early.
Yeah.
But we've been having some great crowds.
Okay.
I mean, like I've been kind of surprised, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually, this was the first.
I don't want to say it like that, by the way. Or whatever.
I know.
I'm surprised. No. It's just a big space. That's why.
I saw Christmas Carol the very first year I moved to Rhode Island. So it was like 20-something years ago. That's how long it's been running, every single year. And I haven't been back since. I like the presentation there because I really do love Trinity. I love their space. But I love that this cast seems to be very diverse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, looking at, wasn't Bob Cratchit?
Mm-hmm.
He's Asian. So I'm like, I'm here for that part of it because I feel like as the arts go on, just having different faces, different ethnic groups, and these shows that are traditional to us to bring a little bit of a different spice to it.
Yes.
And when it's done right, you appreciate that, but you don't lose the story.
Yes.
And I think that.
And you never do. It's just a different variation of it, and we should be in all variations of anything.
Mm-hmm. I think something that a revelation that I kind of had was human beings are simple to connect to, just complicated to understand because we all have our own individualities.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that's what's beautiful about art is that it's the most simplistic way to connect with somebody. Like I got my poem Danilo, right? I'll never forget one of my friends filmed me at a poetry slam that I was in at the Lizard Lounge in Boston. They asked me, they was like, "Oh, do you mind if I take?"
Lounge? I haven't been there.
They asked me, they was like, "Oh, do you mind if I record?" I was like, "No, not at all." So then they from where they were sitting or whatever, they were sitting by a pair of judges, 2 white guys or whatever, right? And so they finish and the camera's panning or whatever and stuff like that, and I can see the 2 white guys in the camera and they're like, "Oh yeah." It was like, and one of them goes, "I feel like even I have an uncle named Danilo." Like, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? He said it just that plainly. That is literally just my story. But because human beings have a way of we're very simple to connect to. Again, it's just, we're complicated to understand because you have to go through the layers and you have to be patient enough to be able to understand everybody's individuality. But it's very easy to connect. It's very easy to connect with another human being.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of art. So when I see, like, you know what I'm saying, like the diversity and stuff like that, and the stories not being lost, I think it's because of that.
Yeah.
It's because human beings are always able to find a way to be able to connect to one another. You might understand it in a different context, but at the core, if you can understand the core, then you can understand almost anything.
The core,
you know
and respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Respect. You gotta want to respect that.
Honor the moment, honor the language, honor the craft, all of that.
Like, we could just close out on that. Like,
There you go.
That was just beautiful.
Honor the moment, honor the words, honor the craft, honor it all.
Yeah.
And respect my hustle. Shout out to my guy Medea wear on the hoodie, you know what I'm saying?
What's that?
Making all dreams into reality.
Nice plug.
Yeah, man, that's my dog.
See, that's
Medea
what you do. You support the whole
See,
community.
Rudy's not a
That's what I love
gatekeeper. That's what
Not
he's
at
doing.
all. Not at all.
Not at all.
So with that, we are going to say thank you, Rudy, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Again, you know, fabulous guest.
Anytime.
Fabulous guest.
Anytime.
And who knows what he'll be doing next? We don't know where we're going to encounter him again. I'm sure he'll be on the program again.
Now we'll be also too. I'll be in La Tempestad also on at Trinity.
I'll translate that. That's the Tempest.
Yes, the Tempest.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
That
did
is like one of my favorite stories.
So that it's called La Tempestad because how many years ago was it? Might have been like 6, 7, 8 years ago now. Wow. Oh shit! I didn't even realize it was that far back. Teatro en el Verano is a summer theater in the summer. Yes, thank you, my translator.
Thank you, because I need it.
Teatro en el Verano is a collaboration project that happens during the summer with Rhode Island Latino Arts Association and Trinity Rep, where they take classical literature and do it bilingual. So the first time I actually worked with Tatiana, who directed this production of Christmas Carol, was in a bilingual production of The Tempest. And so they're taking that script and doing it on the main stage. And that year I played Ariel.
Okay.
And now where's this going to be at?
This is going to be at Trinity.
At Trinity. Okay.
And
what are the dates for that?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Look it up on the website.
Okay, well let us know.
Yeah.
We will let our listeners
for sure.
and our watchers know as well.
Real quick, I'll tell you just something funny though with that. I played Ariel, and the highlight of that show was Ariel's monologue. That big monologue. And I remember Orlando, my man Orlando or whatever, who was in charge of like translating and stuff, he comes to me with the whole thing translated. And he's like, yo, I translated the whole thing, but like if you want like, a little bit of like the old one, we could like bounce back and forth. And I looked at him and I said, yo, how long have they been doing the original for? And I've been like, how long have they been doing that? They done heard it enough times. We here to do something different, bro. Let's do the whole thing in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? And that was like the first show. That was like the first show where I was able to like invite my family that doesn't really speak. That would come out anyway. They come out to shows anyway. Yeah. But a lot of times I would have to explain it to them. That was the first time when it was like, no, I followed it all.
Next year y'all do a crossover and you do the Christmas Carol all Spanish.
There you go.
Let's go.
And I will understand.
Merry Crimen, mi amigo, Merry Crimen.
Well, I am doing Spanish on Duolingo. I can read it. I took Spanish before. I can read it. I just cannot follow the quickness of it.
Oh yeah, especially if you're talking to Dominicans.
You said it.
I'm Dominican. I can make that joke.
Okay,
it's true.
I'm Dominican. I can make that joke. Okay.
I've talked to Dominicans who don't understand other Dominicans when they're speaking Spanish. They're like,
what's going on? Anyway, on that note, we are out again. Thank you very much. And we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes.
One of my cousin friends, he talk faster than him. He gonna walk up and introduce himself. Charles Johnson, man. Everybody around here call me Bumbinicious, though. Everybody around here call me Bumbinicious. It's fine. You call me that. Don't even worry about it. Everybody call me Bumbinicious. Everybody call you Bumbinicious. Yeah, everybody in the whole city call me Bumbinicious. Don't even worry about it. It's fine. You call me that. Don't even worry about it. Bumbinicious, just what everybody call. Yeah, everybody call me that, man. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all right. So all week long, my ass talking about Bumbinicious. What up, boy? Hey, Bumbinicious, you gonna run, come over and watch the game with us later on? Hey, Bumbinicious, run to the store, grab some beer, come on back. My cousin said, what you calling him? Buminish? He said, everybody call him Buminish. It's all right for me to call him that. Like, no, man, his name's CJ. He's saying you can call me by my initials. That's what he's saying.